guys, this is the Decoder.
And this is a Second Chance Gamer.
For today's review, we're doing a combo review. We met up a while ago, discussed it, and I said in my We Fit Decoded review that, we might be doing it, and as you can see, we're doing it.
Now the two games today are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus and Mutant Nightmare. They were both based off the cartoon series on Fox that ran at the time. And I basically got these two games because they were at a GameStop, and they're both 4-player, and they're simultaneous, and they're great for sleepovers, and that's what I got it for.
Yeah, and it also is a 2-disc, so it looks like it has a ton of junk in them, and it also only takes up 1 block on your memory card, so that's pretty good.
Now just to get something out of the way, this isn't the PlayStation 2 version, this is the GameCube version. And these were released simultaneously. Now, there were a lot of versions of this game. One of them was for the Game Boy, and I believe Mutant Nightmare was for the DS when it first came out. So, it's going to be pretty amazing. So, let's get to the review.
The first game we're going to be reviewing is TMNT 2, Battle Nexus. First off, the game was released in 2004. And the graphics were really good for the time. Not comparable to today's graphics, but for 2004, they were pretty good. And the plot's very basic. It's basically the TMNT crew going around, killing their enemies, and stopping them from taking over the world. And it's not just on Earth. I remember in the start of Disc 2, you go to another planet, and you go to other planets, and then it's pretty cool.
Now, the gameplay of Battle Nexus is also really basic. This is a genre that's basically a 3D beat-em-up. Now, it's kind of like old-school beat-em-ups like Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, where you kill all the enemies on the screen, an arrow pops up, and then you move on to the next area. Now, it's pretty basic, but the thing about this game is it's 4-player, and it's a little chaotic. Now, the areas in the game are a little big, and it makes it pretty enjoyable. Now, the controls are pretty simple. X is to jump, B is to do a strong attack. It's kind of like, if you want to compare it to, the controls of the Super Smash Bros. Series, which is pretty good.
I never realized that. One thing I wanted to go over is that in the game, you can actually unlock the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. That's one of my favorite games ever. I remember I went to a furniture store. They had the machine up there, and I remember I spent a ton of money on it. And I made it pretty far, too. I remember I was playing it for like an hour or so, and it's just pretty fun. Now, the game is just like the arcade game, but it just doesn't feel right with the GameCube controller, I was so used to the machine and the buttons and that, and then you just pick up a GameCube controller and you just don't feel right. Go ahead.
Now, the one thing that makes the bonus game kind of weird is that you could press the one button, and then it would simulate putting another coin in, which would give you 3 more lives. And you could kind of consider it a cheat or something, but it made the game really, really easy to beat. And if I remember correctly, we beat it in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's basically.
Now, one more thing about the plot that is pretty neat is after you beat a couple missions or so, you actually do get to just free roam around the Turtles' hangout. And it's pretty cool because you get to see Splinter and everything. You get to look at everything. You can go back to the city map and everything.
You can actually unlock Splinter and other notable characters such as April throughout the game, and you can have them take the place of the Turtles.
The other neat thing is, I forget what the mode is called, but it's similar to the Horde mode in Gears of War 2. You're basically 4 people, or as many people as playing, you can have up to 2 or 3 or whatever you want, can go into battle mode and just fight waves of enemies, and you get prizes after you beat them, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah, there's a mode like that in Legend of Zelda, both Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I'm sorry, it was an area, not a mode.
And one other thing, it turns out the mode where you go after waves of people is actually called the Battle Nexus mode, just to clear that up.
Yeah, and one bad thing about the game, though, is your health gauge. Everyone shares it. If one person's taking on all the damage and everyone else is doing fine, you all die anyway.
And that's another thing that's kind of weird about it, because, getting off like a little topic here, but there's some places where you have to do these like pristine jumps, and the jumps are kind of hard to do because you have to do like wall jumps and everything. and if one person gets stuck, it lets the screen go for about another 10 feet, and then it gets stuck right before a door. So basically, you can leave the other people in the dust and just go.
And one other weird part about the game was the power-ups. Like, some make you glow, and you don't really notice a change in your character at all. And iced tea recovers your health, and it's not really what you think of when you think of health, but
You can collect these crystals that can give you power-ups, and at the end of every level, you get a grade, so to speak. And that's pretty neat, but I don't understand how collecting these crystals gives you more power-ups, because a guy can go on the internet and just look up where all the locations are and just become the MVP every single time. It's like a game that desperately needs online.
yeah, and it's not just the crystals that give you MVP. It's also, how many kills you got too, but a majority of it is the crystals.
Yeah, so this has been part 1 of the 2-part review. Tune in next week for the Mutant Nightmare review, and until then, see you later.